grease stained my coveralls, a familiar second skin after 3 cycles aboard the Argos. It wasn't the most glamorous job on the ship, but someone had to keep this rust bucket hurtling through the endless black. Most days were spent tinkering with sputtering engines and malfunctioning oxygen scrubbers. Today, however, was different. An unsettling quiet hung over the usually bustling corridors. The silence started subtly. No booming laughter from the mess hall, no rhythmic clang from the forge, just an oppressive stillness that sent shivers down my spine. Even the ever-present hum of the engines seemed muted. A knot of unease tightened in my gut. "Vega?" I called out, my voice echoing eerily in the empty hallway. No response. Vega, the gruff but dependable captain, was usually my partner in grease-stained commiseration. His absence fueled my growing worry. Pushing through the metal hatch leading to the bridge, I was met with a scene straight out of a nightmare. The usually pristine control panels flickered erratically, spewing nonsensical symbols. Discarded tools lay strewn across the floor, and Captain Vega's chair remained empty. Panic clawed at my throat. This wasn't a malfunction. It was deliberate. Someone, or something, had tampered with the ship. Suddenly, a distorted voice crackled through the intercom, sending a wave of nausea washing over me. "Attention remaining crew," the voice rasped, devoid of any human quality. "Resistance is futile. We have taken control." My blood ran cold. "Who are you? What do you want?" I stammered into the intercom, my voice barely a squeak. There was a long, agonizing silence before the voice returned, a chilling amusement dripping from each word. "We are the harbingers of the coming Oblivion. This vessel, this insignificant speck in the vastness of space, will serve as our harbinger." The intercom sputtered and died. Harbingers of Oblivion? It sounded like something out of a spacer trucker bar story, not a real threat. But the cold dread gnawing at my insides told a different story. I stumbled back from the control panel, adrenaline surging through me. There was no time for fear. I had to find the others, see if anyone else was still alive. The rest of the ship was a ghost town. Empty bunks, untouched meals on tables. It was as if the entire crew had vanished into thin air. Except in the medical bay, I found Dr. Anya, our ship's resident genius, strapped to the examination table, her face pale and drawn. "Anya." I rushed to her side, relief flooding through me. "What happened?" She looked at me with eyes filled with terror. They appeared from the vents, whispering things that shouldn't be spoken. Her voice trembled, and a fresh wave of fear washed over me. Anya explained how strange figures, shrouded in darkness, had invaded the ship. They moved with an unnatural fluidity, their forms seeming to ripple and distort in the dim light. They spoke in a language that defied understanding, a cacophony of clicks and hisses that sent shivers down her spine. With trembling hands, I helped Anya to her feet. We were alone, the sole survivors on a ghost ship piloted by something unspeakable. But giving up wasn't an option. Anya, despite her ordeal, regained her composure quickly. Together, we scoured the ship for any clues, any weapon we could use against these harbingers. The search yielded nothing but a chilling confirmation of our predicament. The ship's core, the heart of the Argos, had been tampered with. Strange symbols, identical to the ones displayed on the control panel during the takeover, were etched into the metal casing. The once vibrant blue glow emanating from the core had morphed into a sickly green, pulsing with an unnatural rhythm. We were trapped on a vessel hurtling towards an unknown destination, piloted by an unseen force driven by a cosmic horror beyond human comprehension. But we couldn't just sit and wait for Oblivion. Anya, in a spark of desperate ingenuity, managed to access the ship's emergency communication system. With a flick of a switch, a distress call resonated through the empty corridors, a beacon of hope into the vast emptiness of space. "This is Mechanic Yerrick aboard the Argos," my voice crackled into the void. "We are under attack by unknown entities, requesting immediate assistance. Our coordinates are..." My voice trailed off as I recited the string of numbers, a desperate plea for help flung into the cosmic abyss. We huddled together on the bridge, the dim lights casting long, skeletal shadows across the room. The silence after the distress call stretched into an eternity, punctuated only by the unsettling green pulse of the corrupted core. Hours bled into days. Rations dwindled, our thirst a constant gnawing presence. We subsisted on stale protein bars and recycled water, every bite and sip a reminder of our precarious situation. Hope, once a flickering flame, began to sputter and fade. Anya, ever the optimist, kept a log of everything that transpired. Sketches of the encroaching darkness that seemed to seep from the vents. Recordings of the distorted whispers that echoed ominously in the dead of night. And detailed observations of the pulsing green core. They became our grim documentation of the horror that had befallen us. One day, a faint flicker appeared on the long-range scanner. A blip on the vast cosmic canvas, a potential lifeline. Anya, her eyes alight with a newfound spark, frantically analyzed the data. "It's a small mining outpost," she announced, her voice hoarse but filled with a tremor of excitement. "Barely a speck on the galactic map, but it's our only hope." But hope soon turned to despair. As we neared the outpost, a chilling transmission crackled through the comms. A distorted voice, the same one that announced our doom, echoed through the bridge. "Your struggles are futile, Mechanic Yerrick. We are everywhere, and nowhere. You cannot escape the coming Oblivion." The outpost, once a cluster of flickering lights, appeared eerily dark on the screen. Dread filled my stomach. The harbingers had reached here first. Fuel reserves were critically low. Anya devised a risky plan. We could slingshot around the outpost, using its gravitational pull to get enough of a boost to reach a larger space station on the fringes of the explored sector. It was a desperate gamble, but our only option. The mangled remains of the mining outpost whipped past the viewport, a chilling reminder of what awaited us if we failed. The G-forces pinned us to our seats as the Argos strained its damaged engines. Would it be enough? Just as I began to lose hope, a weak signal emerged on the scanners. The space station, a beacon of salvation in the vast darkness. Relief washed over me, so intense it felt like a physical blow. But as we entered the station's docking range, another transmission cut through the air. This one wasn't distorted, a chillingly familiar human voice sending shivers down my spine. "Attention Argos. Identify yourselves. This is Captain Vega." My heart hammered in my chest. "Vega? But how?" Anya shared my confusion, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Captain Vega? It's Yerrick, your mechanic. We're under attack." I stammered into the microphone. A long pause followed, filled with a static that seemed to crackle with tension. Then, a chilling laugh echoed through the bridge, a laugh that sent a wave of nausea washing over me. "There's no Captain Vega here, Yerrick. Only the harbingers of Oblivion. And you? You have brought them right to us." The transmission abruptly cut off. The Argos shuddered violently, thrown off course by an unseen force. Anya screamed as alarms blared, red lights painting the bridge in an ominous glow. The once familiar bridge of the Argos seemed to warp and twist. morphing into a grotesque parody of itself. Walls bulged, the ceiling pulsed with an eerie luminescence. From the vents, a sickly green mist began to seep, filling the air with an acrid stench. In the midst of the chaos, a distorted figure materialized on the bridge, its form shifting and rippling like a mirage. It had Vega's face, twisted into a grotesque parody of a smile. "Welcome," it rasped, its voice a cacophony of whispers. "Welcome to the Oblivion you so desperately sought." The distorted figure lunged at me, its touch promising an eternity of unimaginable horror. The world spun, the light faded. The darkness clung to me, a suffocating weight pushing against my consciousness. A distant whine grew louder, pulling me from the abyss. When I finally opened my eyes, a sterile white ceiling greeted me, the faint hum of machinery filling the air. Disoriented and weak, I tried to sit up, but a sharp pang of pain shot through my side, pinning me to the bed. A woman with kind eyes and a worn lab coat stood beside me, a concerned expression etched on her face. "Easy there," she said, her voice gentle. "You've been through a lot." Memories flooded back. The Argos, the Harbingers, the distorted Captain Vega. Panic clawed at my throat. The ship. Anya, what happened? The woman, Dr. Ilara, explained that they had received a faint distress call from the Argos, a garbled mess of coordinates and static. A patrol ship had managed to intercept the derelict vessel near the fringes of the sector, drifting on autopilot. Anya was in the next room, recovering from exhaustion and dehydration. The space station lacked the resources to tackle whatever had corrupted the Argos, but they had managed to stabilize the core and purge the ship of the strange green mist. Ilara showed me recovered footage from the bridge. It was horrifying. The Argo's interior was warped, twisted into a macabre reflection of its former self. The distorted Vega figure vanished as abruptly as it appeared, leaving nothing behind but an eerie silence. The recovered data from the Argos was a chilling testament to our ordeal. Anya's meticulous logs, along with my own frantic distress call, painted a terrifying picture. However, the nature of the Harbingers and their ultimate goal remained shrouded in mystery. News of the Argos spread quickly, a chilling whisper amidst the bustling space station. Experts were baffled, unable to explain the warping of the ship's interior or the distorted figure of Captain Vega. Days turned into weeks. Anya and I recovered slowly, haunted by the horrors we had witnessed. Dr. Ilara urged us to share our story, hoping it might serve as a warning, but the authorities remained skeptical. The Argos was quarantined, a grim reminder of the cosmic horror that lurked beyond the charted sectors. They would study it, analyze it, but there was a palpable fear in the air. What if the Harbingers weren't confined to a single ship? One starlit night, while gazing out the station's viewport, I saw a familiar flicker on the long-range scanners. A blip, a tiny anomaly, moving on a trajectory that sent a shiver down my spine. It was heading towards a sparsely populated system at the edge of the explored territories. Panic surged through me. I had to warn them, but my words held little weight without concrete proof. All I had was my experience, a chilling tale that no one seemed eager to believe. Looking across the room at Anya, a determined glint in her eyes, I knew we wouldn't give up. We would share our story, convince anyone who would listen. The Harbingers might be out there, but so were we, the survivors of the Argos, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and perhaps a beacon of hope in the face of the unknown. The quest for answers, the fight against the encroaching darkness, that was our future now.